For about 15 years, I had chronic sinusitis that would not go away. I was 2 days away from having the Roto-Rooter surgery scheduled where they were going to go in and just scrape out my sinuses, even though that doesn't have a great success rate because I was just tired of being sick all the time. I read a book called Sinus Survival that taught me some really interesting things about what's going on inside our sinuses, and eventually came up with this technique out of Ayurveda. And I call it the Bulletproof Sinus Rinse, and it makes your Neti Pot look like some kind of a wuss thing. It's way better than a Neti Pot or using a saline nasal spray, both of which are good for your sinuses, especially if you're going to be flying, if it's cold or flu season, if you've been breathing a lot of dust, or you just feel like you're on the edge of a cold. So anytime there's something going on that you don't like, this is an amazing hack, and I've never seen it written about before. In order to do this, what you're going to need is a bowl, a good sized bowl. I'm using a salad bowl here. Full of warm water. Warm but not hot because it's going in your nose. You're going to need some xylitol from hardwood trees. Don't use the genetically modified corn xylitol stuff. Do not use erythritol, do not use sugar, don't substitute honey or some other sweetener. This is xylitol because xylitol inhibits bacteria's ability to stick to your teeth, to your sinuses, to if you're about to get an ear infection, this can help you as well. So it's got to be real xylitol. And you want some iodine. Any kind of iodine will work. I oftentimes use Lugol's iodine, which is a mix of two different kinds of iodine. I've also used iodine surgical scrub. A few drops of that actually has a detergent action that can break down biofilms, but it leaves your nose feeling a little tingly when you're done. You just use a little bit of iodine. Too much of that stuff, you're not going to like how you feel. And then you need some sea salt. In this case, this is actually mined sea salt from the Andes in a cool little hexagonal salt container here. So what you do is you get your warm water, get yourself ready, have some tissues available because you're going to need them. And you add the xylitol. How much? It doesn't really matter that much. A tablespoon or two. It depends on how big your bowl is. This isn't an exact science. The reason you have salt in the water is because regular water encourages bacteria and fungus growth, and salt water discourages that. How much salt do you put in there? A teaspoon or two. I'm going to put, about that much, because this is a relatively large bowl. And I'm going to add, this is a very, very scientific process, a drop or two, maybe 3 of iodine. And as a side bonus, I got it on my finger. Now, what would iodine on your finger do? It would absorb through your skin, and then your thyroid will be happy. There's some debate about whether you should do this if you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which I used to have and I don't have anymore. I think people with Hashimoto's still need iodine, and I recommend that everyone get some iodine exposure from at least eating seaweed, if not taking iodine supplements. So now what you're going to do, you're going to mix this up. It doesn't have to be fully dissolved, but it's a good idea. Otherwise, you're sort of wasting your xylitol and salt. Bonus points, you can add in some grapefruit seed extract, which is a broad spectrum antimicrobial that comes from grapefruit seeds. You can buy that at your favorite retailer, you can buy it online, grapefruit seed extract, not grape seed extract. Or you can add colloidal silver or both to the mixture. You might want to use filtered water if you have city water, but honestly, a little bit of chlorine in here from city water probably isn't going to kill you, but I recommend not putting city water inside your body. Now, here's the important part. You're going to lean forward. If you sort of get weirded out and you turn your head back like this, it is all going to go down your throat and you will gag. It's terrible. You got to bend at the waist like a dippy bird, like this, and keep your head down. If your head's down, you can actually suck the water up your nose like a straw. The benefit of this is that it creates suction and it creates a current. So the water goes up through the sinuses and drops down in the back of your mouth, and you can spit it out in the sink. This is not going to look pretty when I do it, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyway, because this is one of those things that can stop a cold right before it happens. You do this before and after you get on an airplane, it really makes a big difference. Now, before I start snorting this stuff, there's one other shortcut here that's really powerful, and it has to do with your immune system and what's going on around your eyes. Around each eye, there's a huge network of bacteria and fungus and yeast that grows. Yes, it's gross, but that's how it is. And those actually trigger your immune system. So if you're looking to calm down the immune system, one thing you can do is this. Take a deep breath and blink in the water. I'll do it now and look really graceful while I do it. Now you might think this would hurt. It doesn't, because there's salt in the water. So now I have a wet face and my eyes have been sterilized. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a breath so I have some oxygen, and I'm just going to basically suck some water up my nose, and I'm going to spit it in the sink, and that's going to wash my sinuses out. Yeah, it's gross, but it works. So what I just did, and you can do that 3 or 4 times, is I just washed my nose out way more than you can get with a Neti Pot. And I do this when I land, if I've been on a long flight, if I have dry sinuses, or if I feel like I'm about to get sick. This is an amazing hack. And if you've dealt with chronic sinusitis, you know how disabling that can be. I don't get sinus infections. They're very, very rare, maybe once every 3 or 4 years when I did something to deserve it. The rest of the time, it's just a non-issue, and it used to be a monthly occurrence for me. Hopefully this is helpful for you. That's the Bulletproof Sinus Rinse. Key ingredients: iodine, salt, xylitol, and maybe GSE and maybe iodine. You just drink it through the nose, spit it out. You're gonna like how you feel.